So officially, welcome to this webinar on teaching English online from South Africa. It's a big day today. There's some big changes in eTEFL Online International, and we have now a new branch in South Africa that is headed up by Mr. Zander himself here. We'll get into all of that as we go along. So let's get cracking with that. Yeah, no, it won't work. There you go. So what we're going to go through on this webinar is we're going to, first of all, introduce you to eTEFL Online in South Africa. We're going to talk a little bit about teaching English online, specifically from South Africa as well. Go over what you need to get started. This is hardware, software, all of those things, certifications, the whole lot. Explain exactly what it is that we do and how we can help you. And then we have a video where we're going to get some people to interview, but they weren't able to make it. So we did get some recordings of the previous graduates that we'll play for you as well, so that you can get some feedback from people that have gone through the program themselves. Even though Zander is one of those people that went through the program himself, so you can get feedback from him as well. So who are we, first of all? So eTEFL Online Teacher Training is an online teacher training academy. We're based in the EU, Spain specifically, but now with a branch in Bloemfontein in South Africa. All right, so we're made up of ESL teachers, teacher trainers, mentors with over 30 years of combined experience. It established in 2016, so we're pushing on 7 years now. In November this year, we'll be 7 years old, so we've been around for a while. We've been doing this specifically. I mean, we've been doing TEFL courses for much longer than that, but really focused on teaching English online specifically since 2016, since the boom really started then. But 2017, 2018 was the heyday of the online teaching boom. And then we've helped thousands of teachers get their TEFL certifications and launch their online teaching careers. You can go to our websites, you can speak to the people that are in our WhatsApp groups as well, in our Facebook groups. You can chat to the people that have been through our programs, read our reviews on our website, all of that as well. All right. So just a quick meet the team shot of everybody there. Is myself and Zander at the top. We got Roxanne, who is our tutor and IELTS head of studies. Dr. Daniel Portman at bottom left there. He heads up our TEFL course department. He's the TEFL course creator and moderator. I'll talk about a little bit about him later on. And then we have other recruitment partners at the bottom. We have Leslie as well, who's our TOEFL head of studies. And then you over here, we're waiting for in the last photo. That's our online teacher training community. Because unlike any other TEFL course provider out there, what we do really focus on is the support that comes afterwards. And we have a great and active community of online teachers, hundreds and hundreds of them in emails. We have like up to 700 people in the group, and WhatsApp group, we have 150 active teachers, always there to help each other out, provide support, and so forth and so on. All right. Okay. eTEFL Online South Africa. I'm going to hand you over to Zander now, who's our new head of eTEFL South Africa, and he will take you through what it is that we're going to be doing over there and how we all work. Zander.
Thank you very much, Jody, and officially welcome to everyone from my side. I'm sure you've never heard of any business that's located in Europe and in Bloemfontein. It's quite a unique spread, but it's very, very exciting. And I'm very excited about the partnership between eTEFL Online and South Africa, particularly because of the reason that sort of in my experience as being an online teacher for the last about two and a half years, the more I do this, the more I realize how in what unique situation South Africa, probably with a few other countries as well, but we find ourselves in a really unique situation when it comes to TEFL as a career opportunity, or maybe even just as something that you would like to supplement your income with. And the reason being is with online teaching, you would be earning money in US dollars or euros. Now, we've always been quite angry that the euro and dollar has been so strong against the South African rand, but in this case, it's actually something for us to benefit from, which means that for South Africans, if you earn $1,500, $2,000 a month, that's a pretty good income compared to maybe someone in the US earning that kind of money, because our exchange rate is very favorable to us, as well as our cost of living, obviously, depending on where you're from, is also favorable. And so this is something that I'm completely convinced is a really, really good alternative, or even a complete career opportunity for people in South Africa. And I'm living proof of that. I've been teaching full-time for the last 2 years, and I can attest to that for sure. So, and that's basically why we decided to partner, is we wanted to place more focus on the South African market, helping people to launch their online teaching careers in South Africa, from South Africa, by the training courses that we provide. Now, a bit of a statistic on the next page. I did a bit of research last week. In 2017, there was actually a study specifically focused on the average earnings of TEFL teachers in South Africa. And in 2017, which is now about 6 years ago, the average income for an online teacher was between 15 and 20,000 Rand. And I can definitely witness to the fact that in the many people we've worked with, the many teachers who've made career changes, started their careers in online teaching, they're earning more than that now, which is a really, really good indication for us. But that's basically the reality of the benefit of being an online teacher, especially if you are located in South Africa. So basically what we offer, all right, as eTEFL Online South Africa, first of all, we obviously offer teacher training. Seeing as many of the people who come through our program do not have a single day of experience teaching, either online or offline. Many people come from many different backgrounds, from medical backgrounds, from as property agents, even from legal backgrounds, wanting to either supplement their income or start a brand new career. And so we realized that that's going to be probably the majority of the people coming through our course will not have any experience as teachers, which is what we provide. I always tell people, listen, if you're worried that you don't know how to teach, how a classroom should look like, that's what we offer you in our teacher training. Secondly, and this is really something that sets us apart from other TEFL providers. I literally had a phone call with someone today saying, listen, I did my TEFL certificate with a different company, but when I got my certificate, they sent me on my way and said, good luck. And this is really something that we decided this is not going to be us. We want to see this through with each one of our candidates, our teachers. We want to make sure that we offer support after finishing your TEFL certificate. And that's actually, I want to say, when our support really kicks in, is really the need for helping you to bridge the gap between being a qualified online teacher and being a working online teacher, actually earning money. So we want to help you bridge that gap. And that's why we designed the Career Mentorship Program, which means depending on the bundle that you choose with us, Career Mentorship is part of most of our bundles, which means that you will enter a 3-week program after completing your TEFL certificate, where you will have time with me on Zoom for 3 weeks, a total of, I believe, 6 sessions, where I will help you with things such as putting up your resume, what to include in your resume, what to exclude from your resume. If you have a background that's totally seemingly unrelated to teaching, I help you with how do you need to word that to make it acceptable for possible interviewers or recruiters. We help you with introduction videos. We help you with preparing for interviews. We actually recreate the interview environment in one of our sessions. And then we also refer you to the companies, the online schools, as well as freelance platforms where we have seen consistent success with our previous teachers. So this is really something that links between, okay, I have my certificate, what now? Where do I even start to look? And we really help you with that process. And then thirdly, which is also something that I really like about eTEFL Online, is the fact that we offer lifetime support. So even once you are established in your career as an online teacher, earning good money, we want to make sure you don't get stuck. So we actually embed you in a community of teachers, as Jody had mentioned, from all over the world, that we can actually gain from the elaborate experience that we have in those groups. And we really serve as a support structure to teachers far beyond completing their TEFL certificates. Now, quickly to talk briefly about what you need to get started as an online teacher, right? In terms of hardware, and Anthony mentioned that he bought a brand new computer. So well done, Anthony, you took the first one for sure. So you obviously need a computer with a webcam that has at least 720p, which most recent models would have at least a 720p camera. Secondly, you need a headset with a microphone. which is very similar to the one you see in the picture at the bottom in the middle on the slide. That's more or less what you want. And then obviously an internet connection of at least 4 to 5 megs per second. But I'm sure if you have access to fiber in your area, I think they actually start at 10 megs per second, which would be brilliant for you as an online teacher. Now, what else you will need, and maybe more specifically, where you will be teaching your students on is all of the major online software for meetings that include both video and audio, Zoom, Skype, Google Meet. When you get a job with an online school, I would say the majority of online schools actually have their own software, meaning they have their own platforms where you will actually facilitate your lessons, and they provide full training on how to use those platforms once you start the onboarding process with your school. All right, I'm going to hand over to Jody to talk a little bit more in depth about what the actual 120-hour TEFL certificate entails.
Right, thanks, Zander. I'm going to skip back one because I know this question is going to come related to South Africa and hardware and the dreaded load shedding. We've got the hardware here. This is from our international slides where we do presentations and don't have to address load shedding, but there's going to be that coming up in South Africa. Can you give us some insight as to how you deal with that issue and how you keep teaching?
For sure. I actually taught for about 18 months online without any extra measures such as a UPS, inverter, or generator. What I used to do is I would either plan maybe to go to my parents-in-law's place and work from there for the day. What I actually did in emergencies is I would just make sure I have enough data on my phone, and I would create a mobile hotspot. My laptop was quite new at the time, still is, and it can run for about 9 hours when it's fully charged. So basically, for the first 18 months, I did not really spend a lot of money to get around load shedding. But since then, probably about 6 months ago, I bought myself a UPS, which cost me just over 2,000 Rand, I believe, which obviously as an online teacher is 100% tax deductible. And running only my Wi-Fi router on the UPS would give me about 3.5 hours worth of Wi-Fi. Which is normally good enough to get past one sort of interval of load shedding.
Yeah. So that's a way a lot of online teachers start from South Africa. It's just have your mobile hotspot on your phone and make sure you've got a laptop. I'd say a laptop is key when you're starting out because you have a battery, and if the power goes off, you're all right for at least a couple of hours. And if you can plan ahead as well, I know there's applications and they do let you know when load shedding is going to happen most of the time, that you can plan around that. Okay. But yeah, eventually, I know UPS, I didn't realize that they were 2,000 Rand, which in the general scheme of things is not a lot of money, especially when you're dealing with your livelihood and your income. All right, so let's jump over to step 1 of the TEFL certification course. Zander was saying earlier that phone call that he had today with somebody who's done their TEFL with somebody else. If I had a buck for every time somebody emailed me to say, I've done my TEFL course with somebody else, and now I don't know what to do and where to go. If only I had discovered you guys earlier, etc., etc., etc. You do not need to go and do your TEFL course with anyone else. All right, so you can get the whole package included with eTEFL Online straight from the beginning. Then we know who you are and where you are through the process. We're familiar with how you work, and you're familiar with how we work from day one. And as soon as you finish your TEFL course, you can go straight into the mentorship program, because all the bundles, like Zander said, include the mentorship, so that once you're done, your spot is already booked and you can go. It's seamless. All right. So in our 120-hour TEFL course, you will learn how to teach a new language. You'll learn how to teach grammar, speaking, listening, reading, writing, how to create effective lesson plans, how to test and evaluate your students' progress. These are things that teachers need to know. All right. What you need to bring to the table before you do this is a good understanding, to be proficient at English. Right? You don't need to be a native speaker of English, but if you're good at it, so like I always talk to people and try and explain the similarities and differences. It's like, if you're very good at baking or cooking or something, somebody says you should do this for a living, you can do a course on how to teach people how to bake and cook, but you got to know how to bake and cook beforehand. All right. So it's something that you have a passion for, something that you're good at. And what we will do in the TEFL course is show you how to teach people using that knowledge of yours. And then, of course, going into the specifics like grammar, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Grammar, as native speakers, I know we just know how to say things and construct sentences, but maybe we don't know why we do that and how we do that, right? So those kind of specific things, yes, we will teach you in the course as well. And this is just an overview of what you will have. One of our modules as well, module 10 of the course, is specific to online teaching as well. The certificate you get in the end as well will be used for online teaching. If you want to go teach abroad in a few years or later on, you want to go teach in a school, go to Thailand or China or Japan or South America, whatever, you can use that same certificate as well. And for that end, we have partnered with Dr. Daniel Portman, who's a TEFL expert, to help us develop the 120-hour online course. So Dr. Portman's knowledge and experience, they span over 24 years. He holds a CELTA, a postgraduate certificate in education, focusing on educational research. He has a doctorate in education, which he wrote his dissertation actually on teaching of business English. He also teaches part-time online, but he does work at a university as well. So currently, Dr. Portman is part of a team writing and delivering the Common European Framework for Reference for language-aligned teacher training programs for all of Israel's tertiary level English instructors. So all of their university instructors, the government has a program to help them improve their English language skills, and he is part of that team. So the guy that the government hired to train the university lecturers is the guy that created our TEFL course for us as well. So you're in very, very good hands. So he is the one that created the course, he moderates it, and we are also accredited by the Continuing Professional Development Group. So all of our moderation and our accreditation is external and third party. All right, just to give you an overview of what the online course platform looks like, you will log into an online course on the computer, and on your left, you'll have your instructions, your table of content, and you just click on the links, open up. There's modules for you to download, PDFs for you to download and study. You can access this on a computer, on a laptop. It's responsive for mobile phones. I mean, if you're in a tight spot and you have to use your phone, okay. But of course, it would be better the bigger the screen, the faster your internet, of course, the better experience for you to watch the videos and everything. I'm the kind of person that would download the PDFs and then print them out so that I can scribble all over them and study. I'm very tactile in that way of studying, but maybe you just need the PDFs on your computer, on your screen, if that's the way you prefer to study. Then you watch the videos that are related to it, and at the end of each module is a short quiz just to test your knowledge, make sure it's basically for you to make sure that you are on the right track, that you are understanding the work that you've just assimilated. At the end of the course, you will have a final exam, which is over 83 questions. And then you will have to submit some assignments to your tutor for review and evaluation and feedback, and then you will earn your certificate. I would say our pass rate on the first try is 99%, so you don't need to worry about that. The course is very good, very well structured. If you do your work and you study and you're doing well throughout the quizzes, you should have no problem at the end completing the assignments and doing the final exam. All right, and then to add a little bit of an extra thing and that personalized touch, we also offer a 30-hour online teaching practicum. So this is specifically for people who have never taught before. If you're coming from a different background where you're not being a teacher, then the practicum is a must. So you've done your 120-hour course, now you do your 30-hour practicum. So you'll observe recordings of teachers in online class environments, one-to-one group classes, adults, children. You'll write some reports on those, some feedback, just so that we can, and then submit those to your tutor so that we can see that you're on the right track, that you're watching the videos, and that you can apply what you've learned in the 120-hour to what's happening in these classes, so you can see that connection in the real world. Then you'll join our teacher training seminars. We work with the Worldwide English Practice online school. They have over 20,000 students all over the world, and you'll be teaching their students in real classroom environments. Okay, so they'll have seminars, bi-monthly seminars. You join twice every 2 weeks. You can join a seminar where they'll help you get set up and trained for how to work with the systems. It's on Zoom as well, so you'll be familiar with that. And then you'll teach 8 one-hour classes with their real students in a real classroom environment. It's only 1 hour per week. It's a very structured program. That's over 8 weeks, 1 hour per week that you have to commit to. And at the end of that program, when you've done your 8 hours, you will get an accredited certificate from them and from us as well for you to use in your applications. But I would say that it's the confidence that you gain from this program that is really the key. Because it's like, yeah, you've got another certificate, and that's great to put on your CV. But when you walk into that virtually walk into that first online class, you know what you're talking about. This is not the first time that you've sat on Zoom and you've had to deliver information, that you have that confidence, and that comes through, and your students can tell that as well. All right. Just an idea of what a class would look like. As you can see, it's Zoom at the bottom right there. This is Yogini. She's been one of our previous graduates. I think she's almost finished the practicum now. I'll have to check on that. Probably only one lesson left. But in the practicum as well, you have to create lessons to prepare for your students. So we provide the templates for that. We have a resource library with over 100 pre-made templates for you to just download and change around, or just use as is, whatever you want. And you have to then run a class for an hour on the Zoom platform for your students. So you can do anything, some slides. You decide if you want to do, just written stuff. You want to do for younger learners, for older learners, what level you want to do. Is it mixed levels? You choose the topic. It's totally up to you what you feel comfortable teaching. Because in the end, when you become an online teacher, and we'll talk about that, as Zander will talk about that as well, you decide what students you want to work with and what you want to teach. All right. Step 2, after all that training is done and you've got your certificates and you've got that confidence, now you need to actually put all of that into practice to start earning a living. And that's where the career mentorship program comes into play. And Zander, I'm going to hand it back over to you to talk about this.
Perfect. So as I mentioned earlier, the mentorship program is really focused on bridging that gap between I'm now qualified, but now I need to start earning some money and making a living from that. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to briefly mention it again. We will go over your resume, your introduction video, freelance profiles. So we basically give you everything you need and more to get started, both with working with online schools as well as on freelance platforms, which is a really effective strategy that we've developed to make sure that you have some diversification in your income as an online teacher. On the next page, you'll see that we actually offer this program in 2 different formats. Our standard programs, so when we get to the programs a little bit later, all of our standard programs include a self-study version of the mentorship program, which means that you get all the recordings of what you are expected to do in each step. You get all the resources that we normally give people in the mentorship program. The only downside to this one is the fact that you don't have that time with me on Zoom where you can ask me questions about your specific situation, your background, and things like that. After you have completed the self-study one, if you choose to do so, you're always welcome to book a call with me afterwards. Obviously, there's a fee included for that if you want me to look at your resources and resume. But the one that's the most popular for most teachers is the one that's actually the live mentorship program, where we normally run about 2 groups per month with 4 people in each group. So it's nice and small, and it makes sure that we give you individual attention and look at your specific situation to be able to guide you more effectively in getting your career started. On the next slide, you will just see some of the topics that we'll be touching on. We talk about motivation in the first session, which is a really, really important foundation before you get started. Session 2 is production week, where we put together your resumes, video script, all of the resources you'll need to actually submit an application. In session 3, we focus a lot on interview preparation, where we recreate the interview environment and give you some time to practice and get comfortable with that. Session 4 starts application week, where we then go ahead and apply to all the schools that we refer you to, as well as the freelance platform. Session 5 is also focused on teaching children. As often when you get started teaching with an online school, the majority of online schools focusing on children. But know that that is not the end. I started out teaching children. Today, I teach about 97% adults, because that's my preference. But again, if you want to continue teaching children, whatever your preference is, there's place for you in the industry of online English teaching. Then marketing yourself as a freelancer, meaning we show you exactly how to create a really appealing profile to attract students to your profile, and how to get private students as well as keep them in the long run. On the next page, you'll just see a snapshot of one of our recent groups. So as you can see, one candidate had load shedding, and you can guess which one it was. But most of these people who you see on screen have actually started working already and are earning an income from online teaching.
There's Yogini again. just to interrupt.
Yes.
I only noticed this when I was preparing today. I was like, oh, there she is. Oh, she's everywhere. She should be our spokesperson.
Yeah, we should probably pay her for all these marketing materials. Great. The next step number 3, is the lifetime support that we offer. And we do that in various different forms. As Jody mentioned, you will be added once you've completed one of our courses. You'll be added to our WhatsApp group containing, I think, about 150 to 200 teachers. There are also some recruiters in that group, which means that once their schools start hiring, we are often the first ones to know about that and to benefit from those opportunities. We will obviously be also added to a Facebook community where you can ask questions if you run into some issues or you want some advice. You're welcome to consult those different groups. Also, free training sessions in IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge exams. These are not the courses themselves. These are just sort of supplementary sessions where some of our experts in those areas talk about those exams and really help you to be more effective in preparing your students for those specific exams. Then every single month, we host a Q&A session, meaning for all of the people that have done any of our courses, you have access to once a month to jump with me on a Zoom, ask me any question you'd like. This is really focused on making sure that people do not get stuck in the industry, but actually keeps growing and also maximizing your income and growing as an online teacher. The next point, resource library, Jody briefly alluded to that, as we have some resources, lesson plans, things like that, so that when you get started teaching, you don't have to go and buy or find or design your own lesson plans, but you can actually use some of what we already have. Then job offers, as I've mentioned, we often have recruiters approaching us with opportunities, and we pass those opportunities on to you to make sure that our community benefits from that. And then lastly, the online teacher community, which basically encompasses everything that we just spoke about, which on the next page, you will see some of the pretty faces of people that are part of the community already. Now, if you're sitting here tonight and you're thinking, wow, this is something I'm either seriously considering, or you've already made the decision, this is something that I need to pursue, how do you get started? Okay, so obviously step number 1 would be to contact us or visit our website. Our website is www.eteflonline.co.za, and Jody will put it in the chat for you. So you will find all of our courses on that website, along with prices and details of what they include. They need to enroll in one of our online training programs, complete your TEFL certificate, which is obviously step number 1. And then secondly, the Practicum. If you choose to enroll for a package that includes the Practicum, that would be your obvious next step. Then after that, number 4, start the mentorship program. And then that's your final step before jumping into the big blue ocean of online teaching, so to speak. I asked, as Jody mentioned at the start, I really like gathering stories of people who have gone through the mentorship program and have gone through all of our training programs to share their stories, the good and the bad. So the candidate you see on the screen right now is called Deline. She actually finished her mentorship program in November last year. So that's about 2 months ago now. She finished her mentorship program. And I asked her to maybe share a bit about her experience with the program. So please take a look.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Zander. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I'm sorry I can't be here. It's my son's 16th birthday, and I've actually booked off the whole day on my schedule. So this is an unplanned chat. So I'm going to speak off the cuff and tell you my story regarding the mentorship and the TEFL online teaching. I did my 180-hour TEFL course in COVID, like so many others, because I thought I just never want to get caught again in a situation that I cannot work. And I'm looking for a job that I can do, retirement style job into my 70s. And I thought that this is what I want to do. I had toyed with the idea for many years. COVID just said, it's time. So I did my course, and then we moved, and I started intermittently making applications with schools, and I just didn't come right. I couldn't get work. I just got rejection after rejection. People would sometimes not give me any reasons. They just say, we're not hiring, or you're not suitable. I thought, oh, I'm in my 50s. I'm never even going to get the money back, you know, that I invested in the course. This is terrible. And I would give up. And then about 3 months later, I'd say, okay, come on, try again. And I'd Google top 10 schools or top 10 freelance platforms and just make application after application. Join some platforms like Teacher Record where they try and find jobs for you. Nothing worked. I just couldn't get work. And I got so despondent and I pretty much gave up. I did try again. I would pick myself after 3 months and try again. And to no avail, I just could not get work. And then somebody told me about the mentorship program that says a bunch of South African people, and it's so helpful. And I thought, oh, let me try. I was very dubious. I thought, oh, I don't know. Now I'm spending more money and I'm still not going to get work. I'm not convinced. But I joined the program. I thought, I'm just going to stick to it. Let me see. And honestly, it was the best thing I ever did. Within 2 weeks of completing the course, within 2 weeks, I got my first hit on Preply. And then I got 2 students, and then I took a break for Christmas over 9 days. And then from the 1st of January, my schedule just filled up. It was absolutely incredible. I opened it up till like 8 at night, and I just got bookings left, right, and center everywhere. And January has just been incredible. It's my first full month. And my family actually said to me, hey, you know, you cannot be sitting in the office from 10 until 7 at night. You know, I'm just not available suddenly. And so I've had to actually trim my schedule down. And the days where I'm not booked, I've tried to trim it down to 5 o'clock. I've been so busy. And I'm excited to say that today is the first day that I drew money. I drew $347, which equates to 5,800 Rand. I'm so excited. I've covered all my costs and I just feel so hopeful and there's so much potential for the future. Now, I know actually $347 isn't a lot, but remember, I am running a full-time family. I have 2 boys. I have a husband. I'm the maid. I'm the cook. So I don't actually have a lot of time. So I'm squeezing a very tight schedule. If you have a lot of time and you can open up your schedule to say 9 o'clock at night, you'll make double the amount of money. And this is my first month. I'm only on a very low dollar rate. And when you begin on the freelance platforms, they take quite a lot of commission for the newbies. And then as you commit and you do more hours, then your commission lowers and you can raise your price slightly, which I've done because my schedule was just taking off like wildfire. People couldn't find places to book. I have people booking little half-an-hour slots and then another, so the whole day is back-to-back, no breaks. It's just been a whirlwind ride, absolutely crazy, but I love it. I have students in Israel, in Istanbul. I have someone living in Germany who's from Argentina, someone living in Montreal who's from Brazil. They want new jobs. They're not confident conversing. One of my favorite students is Liliana. She is a professor in Romania, super smart, but cannot speak English. She can academically read it and write it and do research, but she can't converse. So I just love it. I've even got children in Thailand. I absolutely love it. It's the most amazing and rewarding job that I've done. And you're building relationships with people. I've already had my girl in Tel Aviv tell me she's coming to visit me in South Africa. So it's just been fantastic. I'm loving it. And only 1 month in. I've given myself a target as well. By June, I would like to be earning $15 an hour. So just hoping that will come true, but I'm sure that it will. The biggest challenge on the mentorship program definitely was the video. I thought I would never be able to do it. I took about 150 takes. I was changing outfits and it was the wrong colors and I just could not get it right. So that nearly made me quit, but I pushed on through. So any advice from me to you would be to just persevere, just keep on. It will be worth it. It will. And the biggest thing I learned from the mentorship, well, certainly from Zander, I would say he is so authentic. And if you watch his videos, when he's teaching, it's not really about him. It's about the student. And he just delivers a very real class. And I found that amazing lesson. So when I teach, I just try to be as real as possible. Don't try and be perfect. I don't try and be smart. I just try and deliver a really easy, comfortable, real lesson. And I try to build rapport with my students right from the start. And that was a great little tip that Zander gave us all. So yeah, I'm very grateful for the whole process and the results. And I just wish you all the best from me to you. Zander said a great thing as well. I didn't want to go onto the freelance platforms because when you go onto these sites, you see they've got 12,000 tutors and you think it's impossible. How will I get work? And he said, remember, there's 1.6 million users. So there are students that will be a perfect fit to you. So whatever you bring to the table is perfect. You don't have to try and be anything else because there is a student who needs exactly what you have. So yes, that's pretty much my story. Lots of love and good luck to all of you. Zander, thank you for having me and all the best. The mentorship program is amazing. And I've already got people saying they're interested. So I'm going to be forwarding lots of people to Zander and his team. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, Deline, in her absence. So this is classic example, someone who completed her TEFL certificate elsewhere, and we were able to help her to get started. And the incredible thing about online teaching, I mean, what I'm seeing when I started out, my first month was 900 Rand, second month 1,800, third month 3,600. And what we're starting to see all the more through the mentorship program is people, Angus the other day said his first month was 5,000 Rand. So people are actually getting a quicker start. And then, I mean, if I grew from 900 Rand to upwards of 40,000 in about 18 months, I mean, I don't even know what these guys are going to do. So it's really, really encouraging for me also to hear these stories, but this is really the effect of the program. And there are many other stories like this one out there. So as we're wrapping up our session, I want to quickly take you through some of the options that we have. If you want to decide to get into online teaching, you need the training. Here are some of the options that we offer. So we've got three sort of online teacher packages or bundles. First of all, we've got the standard 120-hour online teacher, which basically includes your 120-hour TEFL certificate. And it then includes the self-study version of the mentorship program, meaning you'll be watching the recordings. You won't, unfortunately, have the face-to-face time with me. The second package there is the professional 120-hour online teacher package, which obviously also includes the 120-hour TEFL certificate, and then the live face-to-face mentorship program after completing your TEFL certificate. The advanced option, 150-hour, includes everything that I've just mentioned, as well as the practicum, the opportunity you have to practice teaching with real life students. So that includes the practicum as well. On the next page, if you are maybe attending or watching this recording today, and you already have a TEFL certificate, as Deline had, and you are interested in doing maybe the mentorship program or the practicum or one of our other programs, we do offer them also separately. So the first option, standard career mentorship, is only includes the self-study mentorship program. The professional career mentorship option includes the career mentorship, as well as one of our specialist courses, either the IELTS, the TOEFL, the Cambridge exam, which is basically if you want to increase your earnings per hour, you can develop a niche like that, where you prepare people for that are looking to immigrate to an English-speaking country. They need to complete one of these exams to actually get access or entry to those countries. And I think, Jody, the last stats I saw was about 3 million people per year writing, I think, the IELTS specifically. So there's a huge market for something like that. And the professional career mentorship includes one of those specialist courses of your choosing as well. Then the final option, advanced career mentorship, obviously includes the face-to-face live mentorship program. It does include the practicum, as well as one of the specialist courses that we just spoke about. Now, for all the people who attended this webinar, or for those who are watching the recording of this, we will offer you a 10% discount if you buy any of our packages before the 3rd of February, which I believe is this coming Friday. So before midnight on February 3rd, you get 10% off. And when you purchase the package online on our website, you can just use the code promo23 and it will automatically activate the 10% discount. Now, in terms of the payment options we offer, we have 3 options for you to choose from. You can either do a direct transfer via EFT, you can pay using a credit card, or for those people who would like to spread out their payments over 3 months, we do offer a payment plan, which is broken up into 3 payments. First payment is 50% of the total course cost. Second payment a month later is 25%, and then the final payment 2 months later is also set at 25%. And also there will be a 7% interest added on your course fee if you choose to make use of our payment plan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done preaching to you. Now it's time for questions. Please feel free, nothing's off limits. If you have a comment or a question, please feel free to, you're welcome to either type it in the chat or you can unmute your microphone and let us know.
I'll be monitoring the chat for any questions, and otherwise, if you want to turn on your mic and ask any questions, Zan will be able to help you there.
Hi, Xander.
Yes, Lungile.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I just wanted to ask about load shedding. I don't know how. I'm really struggling with that where I'm at. So I don't know how, is there a solution to that, or what do I need to get in order for me to, if I register with the one-on-one lessons and stuff, what is there like a solution to it? Or let's say I start with the course and I have to start teaching. Do I have to get like forgot what it is, a converter or what it is? Something.
Inverter.
Inverter,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
So,
the question.
Very good question. Thank you, Lungile. We briefly touched on it earlier in the session. So you've got a couple of options. You've got cheaper options. You've got more expensive options. I mentioned to the group earlier, I taught online for the first 18 months without having to spend money on an inverter or a UPS. All that I did is I kept careful watch of the load shedding schedule and made sure maybe if I was going to have load shedding that day during a lesson, I would maybe travel to my wife's office or my in-laws' place and work from there and teach the lessons from there. Secondly, in an emergency, what I used to do is I would make sure I've got some data on my phone and I would activate a hotspot on my phone. And I would always make sure, even still today, I make sure that my laptop is always fully charged to make sure that I've got hours of battery life on my laptop. Once you get going and you have some money to spend, you can always purchase a UPS, which I did about 6 months ago. It cost me just over 2,000 Rand, but it gives me about 3.5 hours worth of Wi-Fi power to get through load shedding. You obviously have some more expensive options to choose from. I visited some friends a couple of weeks ago. They bought an inverter for about 11,000, and they can, if you just connect a light, a laptop, as well as your Wi-Fi, you're probably looking at 8 hours, 9 hours worth of power from an inverter like that. So there are cheaper options and more expensive ones, but it's absolutely possible to get around load shedding.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No questions means we did our jobs.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered everything that everyone could possibly ask. This, you may have noticed, this is not the first time we've given this presentation, so we know what to expect. And yeah, like we said, we've been around since 2016, so we've watched the industry evolve and evolve and evolve, and we know exactly what is required and what you're going to need. Oh, speak of the devil, there's something in the chat. Angela, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. And yeah, just something that that came through when I was watching that video from Deline, talking about like how every 3 months she would do interviews again, and every 3 months and every 3 months. And I'm thinking that's such a typical response that I've heard so many times as well. And then the reason that we have the complete comprehensive programs of the TEFL is that you don't waste that time in between that TEFL course and that mentorship program. Every month that you're not earning is income lost. So the second you get your TEFL certificate, you can go straight into the mentorship program, start getting all those, get the right resume. Because you're, like like we saw in that video as well, like 12,000 tutors on that platform, all the applications that are going out, there is competition. So your resume has to be, put you at the top of the pile. You can't just have any old resume that you used when you were applying for a job as a waiter 10 years ago, or whatever resume you've got now. It has to be specific for online teaching, have a specific format, be written with keywords that Zander can help you with during the mentorship program that are specific to your situation and how your experience relates to online teaching. Your introduction video has to be up there as well, so that you can, that somebody watches it and sees a professional image from a professional teacher. But something I've always told people as well is when you're applying for jobs, you're not applying to be an online teacher. You are an online teacher and you're applying for a job. So that mindset that you've got to have as well going into these things is something that we help you with during the process as well. Okay. Well, what time do we have? Oh, we've gone over. Got a question? Hi, is it possible to get the recording as I joined the session late? Yes, this is being recorded and then we will share it everywhere. Basically, we'll send it out by email. It will be on our YouTube channel. We'll put it on Facebook. We'll check it out on Instagram. It'll be everywhere, so easy enough to find. And for those watching the recordings, Zander over here watching the recording again, just if you sign up before Friday, the 3rd of February, you can get 10% off is it any of the programs, Zander?
Any of the programs, yes. Any
of the programs. All right. So in the mentorship programs as well, we include those specialist courses. I was just working on the Cambridge course today. It's coming along. There's a lot to do in that. Good to hear. There's so much. The Cambridge exams are very, very intricate. Yes, because they have a different exam for every single level. Whereas the IELTS and the TOEFL, the other two courses, it's one exam that everyone takes. And then depending on your result, that's your level. Whereas with Cambridge, you do the exam specific to your level before going in. So there's a lot of different exams that we have to prep for. But yeah, so getting a niche as well like that, specializing in exam preparation is also a good way to raise your hourly rate. You don't have to do exam preparation if you're coming from a previous career where you did real estate, legal, or whatever. You can take that specific language that you used there that's unique to your trade and apply it to online English teaching. There's lots of people specifically online looking for English that's going to help them in their jobs. And if you have that same job, you can help them with that language that's specific to that and not teach them ABCs and things like that. They're not interested. They have a level of English already. They need language for their jobs to get more clients, to work abroad, whatever the case may be. So try and find a niche if you're having difficulty. If you just want to get started in a niche right away, that's why we offer these specialist courses. They're 30 hours. So you don't need to invest a whole another 100 or 120 hours. You can just go straight into a 30-hour course and get started with that as well. All right. Well, if there's no more questions before I start carrying on again, and taking up another hour of your time, we are going to love you and leave you, as they say. And if you have any other questions, you can ask them via email. You can email Zander. I think it's zander@eteflonline.com. It's pretty straightforward. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comment section, you can ask a question. If you're watching it on Facebook comment section, please just shout out. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. All right. To the people that have joined us live, thank you for your time. We won't take up any more of it. And we hope to see you in our online teacher community.